Hello, hello. We're back and we're ready. We're ready to take on the news of today. um, let's see. We'll keep the music on, I guess, for this part. Why not? Um, okay, so uh, yesterday after streaming, I didn't really do a whole lot. I played some World of Warcraft. I got to start getting prepped, for raiding next week. My guild isn't really, like a cutting edge guild or anything. We end up usually beating heroic and then do like maybe a little bit of mythic sometimes, but we haven't been doing that the past two expansions. But um, let's see, I did end up working out today, even though I was tired. I didn't take a nap again, so it was chest day. Felt not bad. Could have been a little better, but uh, let's see. Other than that, just work, 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 man. Never ends. Never ends. Anyway, okay, we can stop the music now. We can't have that peaceful music going on. I guess maybe I should have kept it, actually. The peaceful music goes well with the most peaceful president that we've ever had in all of history. Um, he should have gotten the Peace Prize. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. I'm just so happy that that Mercado lady or whatever from Venezuela ended up, you know, offering her Peace Prize as a token of loyalty to our big beautiful boy here. And I'm sure that he can, anytime he wants, he can go wear it and feel like a very the peaceful dove that he clearly is. So we're going to start with this video here. This is Trump speaking on the war. It was, I think, from yesterday, if I remember correctly. I think there were some clips that came out of it. Uh, I wanted to find a shorter video. I didn't know that he went on for like 30 minutes here. But if we get bored, though, we can always just move into the next video. So uh, I guess let's just go ahead and see, get some new updates. What Trump has to say on war with Iran at this press conference in lovely Doral, Florida. Let's go.
Nuclear threat from Iran, which was a big moment in history, in my opinion, and the great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. But while we're doing all of these things, we're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people
What
could
was
say
that
they're
again?
pretty well complete. We've
What was our
wiped
military objective again?
every single force in Iran out very completely. Most of Iran's naval power has been sunk. It's on the bottom of the sea. It's almost 50 ships. I was just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many.
I didn't either.
Last very long.
I didn't either. The only thing I ever knew about Iran was they had a shit ton of ballistic missiles and a shit ton of drones. And so I'm curious more about that than their navy, to be honest. I don't really know. I've never heard of the prowess of Iran's navy before, but I have to assume that that might not be their strong suit. But yeah, let's see what else he has to say.
And these are fighting vessels. They're
Oh,
meant
totally.
to fight, but
Totally
they're not
believe
meant
that.
to fight against us. We continue to target Iran's drone and missile.
I mean, if there's one thing I know about this administration is they love sinking civilian ships. Like it's their favorite thing. They in Venezuela, like every single ship they were sinking was like just a fisher boat with like a couple fishermen on it or whatever. And it's like so when he says stuff like that, like oh they're all totally military vessels, I'm like oh sure, sure, definitely believe it, 100%.
Capabilities. Their drones are way down. Their drone manufacturing's been hit starting today. We know all of the places they manufacture the drones, and they're being hit one after another. Their missile capability is down to about 10%, maybe less. We're also hitting where they make missiles and where they deliver missiles.
I thought they made them all
We've
underground.
struck over 5,000 targets to date, some of them very major targets. and we've left some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. If we hit them, it's
Hey, saving the best for last, baby. That's the way to do it.
going to take many years for them to be rebuilt, having to do with electricity production and many other things. So we're not looking to do that if we don't have to. But they're the kind of things that are very easy to hit, but very devastating if they are hit. We are
also
waiting
war
to
crimes.
see what happens before we hit them. We could take them all out in one day, but it's all resulting in a 90% decline in various things, but in particular, Iranian missile launchers and 83% drop in drone launchers. As you know, the drone launchers are pretty well shot, but we're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launchers, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we were able to do through great equipment, a lot of smart people, as soon as they sent a missile
So
up
smart.
from a launcher, we were able to knock out
Just like
that
you.
launcher within a period of 5 minutes or less, accurately right on the noggin. So now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones, and our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs to destroy missile launchers all over Iran and buried deep under Iranian soil in many cases. The soil was no
Are those the
match.
bunker busters?
And we're also annihilating the
See, I have such a hard time buying it, man. I do think that Iran really they put a lot of this deep underground, and I'm very skeptical that we're able to really hit them that much. Now we might be hitting the entrances, maybe or the entrance and exits. Like they might be they might have to dig out of them or something. But I am very skeptical of that they're actually destroying the munitions because they spent so much time and so much money trying to protect those for this literal exact situation. So I don't know if I buy that 100%.
manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out. We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here.
I need them to tell me what the original timeline was. I still don't understand. I don't know. They never tell me any of the details. They always keep it super vague.
In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe 3 times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation.
No other president.
To be stuck with the situation in 5 years or 10 years.
Can you imagine Sleepy Joe Biden? Can you imagine Sleepy Joe Biden? He would never do what I'm doing. Actually, by the way, I think he probably would, considering what he allowed Israel to get away with in Gaza. But
from now, so we think they should put a president in or the head of the country in that's going to be able to do something peacefully for a change. They've been doing this for 47 years, killing people for 47 years, whether it's the barracks or even the SS Cole where they were involved very strongly.
I don't know anything about that.
But where they were very strongly involved, and all of the people that died through the roadside bombs died and are right now walking around with no legs, no arms, a face that's been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror.
This is one of the things about Trump that I'm I also don't understand. He's so obsessed with visceral damage of the human body, and I think that there's something going on in his brain where he's just any person he sees who's disfigured just grosses him out to no end. And I don't know what that is. I don't know where that came from, Mr. Trump. Maybe it's with his germaphobe stuff that he has. But he always brings up that shit.
47 years, and despite these countless opportunities to renounce their nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago, they told Mr. Witkoff, who is standing right over here, they said, they actually said, we want to keep building, essentially, in a real nutshell, we want to continue to build nuclear weapons. If we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer, if we didn't knock out their Iranian potential,
In a real nutshell, man, they were going to build that nuke any day now. Any day now. I've heard that for, what, 20 years now? Any day now they were going to get that nuke.
if we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used
Oh,
it
I'm
long
sure.
before now.
Oh,
And at a
no.
minimum, Israel would have been annihilated.
Oof. Wait a second. Wait a second. Don't say that, Mr. President. You're going to turn everybody against this. Israel would have been annihilated if we just let them develop a nuke. Like, I think that everybody's going to be on board for letting them develop a nuke at that
I was
point.
very lucky that we had the courage to do that, that we had the talented pilots and the great equipment. The B-2 bombers are unbelievable. We ordered 25 more, by the way. The newer,
Ooh, Lockheed
better
Martin.
version.
Oh yeah.
It's we have the greatest military.
Our military or our military industrial complex or the Pentagon has never passed a budget or never passed an audit, by the way. That money is going into the ether. That tax money is it is dusted. It no longer exists.
In the world, we have the greatest equipment.
But some contractors out there, they also suddenly all of a sudden got like some money just mysteriously appeared in their pocket all of a sudden.
In the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You still need the people, though, to operate it and to use it. And those are the people that we cherish. Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated in good faith. They still continued to say, we want to build nuclear. We want enrichment at levels that were
Couldn't get a
unacceptable.
deal.
And they even
Art of
turned
no
down an
deal.
offer for unlimited free nuclear fuel forever for civilian purposes. We had people offering them free nuclear fuel. They weren't interested in that because they wanted to build a nuclear weapon. So instead, the regime was trying to reconstitute its weapons program at a different site. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site, a different site, different kind of a site. Mm-hmm. And that was protected by granite. They wanted it protected. Granite's pretty good, but they wanted it protected by.
I got a countertop that I can attest to that. He ain't wrong. Iranians, they made a good choice with that location.
A lot deeper.
Should have done that the first time.
They wanted to go a lot deeper, and they started the process.
Ooh, how deep?
While rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles, they were going to do it all at the same time. It threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our homeland.
No.
The regime's intention was to use this exponentially growing ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So as you probably saw, they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which are now being used or destroyed, and very unsuccessfully used because we have been able, for the most part, to shoot them all down. Mm-hmm. What incredible technology. The Patriots have been unbelievable, and other things. And the laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming up.
The laser stuff. I'm very curious about this. I would love to get like a military person or like a weapon pervert, like arms weapon pervert on here to like talk about like the laser stuff, because I've heard them talk a lot about it, but I feel like I can't imagine it being that much of a game changer in terms of like missile defenses, because like they said that they've developed it. It's been around now for like a few years, and like they're still using all the normal interceptors. If it was this like game-changing thing where they could just like insta-blast these, like insta-detonate these incoming missiles all of a sudden, you'd think that they would actually be like, giving us all the stats on like how they're wouldn't they just use that for everything at this point? Like, I don't know.
Out pretty soon. Where literally lasers will do the work of, at a lot less cost, do the work of what the Patriots are doing or what other things are doing. The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco, so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this.
Oof. Good thing he
At the
stopped
time
him.
we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And if you notice, they did something which was very foolish, very stupid, I would say. They attacked their
What's that?
neighbors, and their neighbors were
Eh,
largely neutral.
I've said it before. I think that was a pretty decent strategy. Like, they got to build up the pressure on America, and show the world that America is incapable of defending these people, defending their allies. And the more that they show the weakness and inability of America to protect these these countries that are supposed to be aligned with America, then the more the people in those countries are going to get really pissed off at their governments for allowing the military bases to exist on their soil. So, I don't know. Like, I think that's a good strategy. Also, their military assets who are like providing data and stuff to America in order to like help them bomb Iran easier. Like, they got to do that anyway, just for like the strict goals of war.
Or at least weren't going to be involved,
Are we allowed to watch
and
that
they
on
got
YouTube?
attacked. And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others, but they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. And nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake.
Such a
UAE
big
had
mistake.
over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting.
Uh, I just want to go back, dude. Someone, please, someone out there, you need to fix the timeline, please. Someone, go back to that escalator. I don't know, stick your like shoelaces in it or something. Get it to stop. Like, we need to fix the timeline. We have to go back.
Getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then and a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way. As we continue Operation Epic Fury, we're also
Epic
focused
Fortnite.
on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world. And I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's
What are you
oil
gonna do?
supply.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to stop, like, to get the oil tankers to flow? Are you going to like? Because as far as I know, none of them have taken you up on your offer to, send your, American military assets, boat like their naval boats, to escort people through the Strait of Hormuz. Like, nobody's taken you up on that offer. So like, what are you gonna do? Are you going to literally be like, hey, oil companies, if you don't send your crew, like your highly expendable crew, through this incredibly dangerous like area in the Middle East in the midst of an active war, like we're going to like assassinate your CEO or something? Like, how are you going to force these people to do your bidding here? Like, I'm very curious. Like, I just there's nothing you can do. They're not going to do it. It's too much risk.
And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that
I
were
don't buy it.
easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat
I
of.
mean, we did all of these war crimes. Like, we have more technology now, but we did all of these war crimes to Vietnam as well, and they recovered just fine. So, like, I don't know. Sure, Mr.
Iranian
President.
ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace, or anything. So the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain safe. We have a lot of Navy ships there. We have the best.
One thing that American like presidents and stuff seem to really believe is that the more war crimes you do, the more like strategic victory you will have. And I think Israel kind of believes this too. Um, and it has just historically never been the case. Like, doing a ton of war crimes does, like, destroying the civilian populace or whatever, does not make for a strategic victory. In fact, it usually has a like opposite reaction with the populace as they become, you know, like less willing to like endure, or like less willing to like go along with they've just become more willing to join like insurgent cells and stuff. So, like, I don't know. You can keep trying, man. I'm sure this time it'll work. I'm sure this time when we commit, all of the war crimes, unlike in the woke Iraq war where we never committed a single war crime, I'm sure this time all of the war crimes will finally lead to strategic victory. I'm sure.
Best equipment in the world, inspecting for mines. Again, most of their ships are down at the bottom of the sea,
With
but
the fishes.
we will hit them so hard that it will not be
Hey,
possible.
you know what? That will be good for the fishes, though. The maybe those ships can become nice little habitats for to get some environmentalism going. So maybe that's what his plan was.
For them or anybody else helping them to ever recover that section of the world. They do anything. In recent years, the
Now that, on the other hand, all that black smoke, I don't think is going to be good for the environment. In fact, maybe, yeah, I think that probably cancels it out.
regime and its terror proxies have launched attacks on
Ugh.
hundreds of commercial vessels. We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices
Ooh.
for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close
Just
to
a little side
finishing that,
quest.
too. In the meantime, during this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. We'll perhaps
My tax
go
dollars.
alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary if it is.
Bad
And if they
idea.
do anything, the price will be
Uh-huh.
incalculable. It will be so great
Incalculable.
that they will have wished they never did it.
He says this every time, dude. He says this is like he says the exact same phrasing every single time that you're gonna regret it, you're gonna regret it if you do it, and then when people do it, it's like just more of the same. Like, I don't know. Okay, cool.
Because you have to keep the straits flowing. With all of that, it affects other countries much more than it does the United States. It doesn't really affect us. We have so much oil.
We're
We have
pretty
tremendous
insulated.
oil and gas, much more than we need. We have Venezuela now as our new partner, great partner. It worked out so wonderful. We're working with the administration, the president, and it's a
Venezuela also should be taking this opportunity to get oil to Cuba. Like, what are we gonna do? All of our military assets are like bogged down in Iran. Like, they should also be taking this opportunity to, you know, to do that shit.
massive source of oil, gas, everything. But we're in a very good position, but very unfair to other parts of the world, like China as an example. I mean, we're doing this for the other parts of the world, including countries like China. They get a lot of their oil through the straits. So we're doing this. We have a very good relationship with President.
Well, to be fair though, unlike us, China has like an ungodly amount of green energy as well. So they're pretty insulated from this regardless. Like, they've got a lot of solar panels and a lot of windmills and just, I don't know. They got a ton of green energy. So I think they'll probably be fine. And they got that BYD company, all the electric cars. I'm sure they'll be great.
In China. I'm going there in a short period of time, and we're protecting the world from what these lunatics are trying to do, and very successfully, I might add. We're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off till this
Russia.
straightens out. Then who
Russia.
knows, maybe we won't have to put
They're going to allow so much Russia oil, and all of the Europeans are going to be like, they're going to be so happy. Maybe they can finally end their energy crisis once they can buy oil from Russia again. I'm curious if after this, if they're actually going to be able to re-sanction Russia or whatever, like if they can mitigate some of the cost to the Europeans with this. Like, I'm curious.
them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes, the U.S.
I'm sure.
Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed. I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine-sweeping ability. We have the greatest ships, and we know exactly where they're placed. We'll get them out of there very fast, but we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that,
Look at this breaking news segment. President Trump, we have tremendous oil and gas. The best.
game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule.
What schedule?
Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel.
Except for all those bases.
With good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder.
See, I'm not so sure it's going to be ending anytime soon, though. Iran has come out. They said, we're not letting you end it. They said they're planning on keeping this going. I heard one person say until the midterms. They want us to feel they want Donald Trump in particular to feel as much pain as possible from making this decision. And that's probably the right move by them. It's kind of what I said they should do in the beginning, is they need to control the de-escalation. They cannot allow us to control the de-escalation this time, otherwise it'll just keep happening. So I think that I have doubts in my head that it's going to actually end anytime soon.
Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead, any questions?
Ooh, the rabble rousers.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And when
I seem to remember a person sometime in the past who said, Day one, Ukraine, Russia, it'll be solved. He was such a naive, young 80-year-old back then.
Look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful.
Yeah, because we want their missile interceptors. We want their resources that we previously gave them so that we can use them to try to protect Israel and some of our Gulf state allies. Like, this, to me, is just an admission that we are we're getting low. We're getting low on interceptors.
But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to...
soon. Look,
Very soon.
everything they have
The
is
most
gone,
soon.
including their leadership. In fact, there are 2 levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But
3
2
levels.
levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously...
No shit. We're all dumbass fucking Americans. Nobody even knew Khomeini's name or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if the average American knows who the supreme leader, which supreme leader got killed or what the name of it was. Yeah, no shit. Nobody has heard of these other people.
And very, very powerful, very effective.
To Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio
Little
is
Marco.
doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as
We
the
love
greatest
little
Secretary
Marco.
of State in history. Look at what we've done as a presidency. Look at what we've done as an administration. They trust Marco, and so do the American people trust. He's been successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be...
I'm honestly a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that he can even speak the language, considering how much a Cuba expat rube he is.
Friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And
You're just going to admit that?
we don't want to see that, but
We don't want to see that, and yet we continue to do it. We continue to blockade them like it's the fucking you know, the Middle Ages. Like we're doing the most atrocious forms of warfare to this like poor starving island. Like, yeah, okay, dude.
they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living the Cuban American vote, which I got at record levels.
Yeah, they're a bunch of freaks, dude.
Very important.
Of course
Those
you did.
people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban American business people, some of them are like the most successful in the country. And a lot of them are friends of mine because I've been fighting this battle with them for a long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off
Okay,
that.
I don't really. So I'm gonna move on now. Thank you, Donald Trump, for all of your wonderful information. I really, honestly don't feel like I got anything more than what I knew yesterday. I really wish that they would just tell us the timeline that they were originally planning or whatever, or they would just tell us like if we're putting boots on the ground or whatever. Like they're just always so wishy-washy and they never have a concrete statement. But okay. Anyway, the next one that I wanted to watch
All right, let's move.
was another one from our friends over at Breaking Points. This one is called Israel Panicking Over Iran War Already. We'll see. Maybe it's cope, maybe it's not. I've heard that yeah, there might be Israel. They might be turning into little panicans that they're just getting all panicky for no reason. And so let's see what the people at Breaking Points have to say about Israel panicking over Iran war already.
Move on to Israel.
Yeah, so we've got, sort of a parallel story here going on
That's a
from the
lot.
Israelis, where we just talked about how some of Trump's aides are leaking to the press, like, oh, we're trying to figure out how to get out of this thing. Well, the Israelis are apparently leaking to David Ignatius, who's known to be very tied in with the deep state over at the Washington Post, that they are also concerned. So this is worth taking note of with interest. Put this up on the screen. So the headline is, Israeli officials are growing concerned. A bombing campaign nearing its military goals in Iran leaves the hardest questions unanswered. A few senior officials in Israel are starting to voice concern about the escalating open-ended attack on Iran and suggesting possible exit ramps that might halt the war before it further damages the region and the global economy. Talk of an endgame is early, and a decision about whether to stop the attacks.
But I don't think you can this time. I think Iran will they will have complete and total control of the de-escalation this time. I don't think there's anything that they can do about that. Even if Iran is as many of their missiles or interceptors, or as many of their missiles or deployment sites are hit, they're going to just keep producing at a slower pace or whatever and just continue to lob missiles until they feel like they've caused enough damage. So I just don't think they're going to be able to control this de-escalation whatsoever this time.
Rests largely with President Donald Trump. That's not what he said, by the way, in any case, who continues to seek all-out victory. But in a telephone conversation Sunday, a senior Israeli official familiar with the planning and strategy for the Iran war discussed alternatives to Trump's call for unconditional surrender. The official requested anonymity. So that is kind of the line coming out from these Israeli
conditional surrender, I guess. I don't know.
Officials is, look, our bases are taking, direct hits. We're going to talk later about the radars that have been damaged. Our Gulf allies are really unhappy in a variety of ways. We'll talk about that as well. But the Israelis are taking active fire in their country. And we really don't have a clear view of just how much damage has been done. But they have to be looking at the same interceptor math that we've been talking about in the context of this war, that we talked about in the context of the 12-day war, and going, I'm not sure how much we are able or willing to sustain. So they may be, reportedly.
Well, they did make this decision. And so, You know, they should have known that I mean, if they had half a brain, they would know that they wouldn't be able to control the de-escalation this time. Like, but to be honest, like Zionism just straight up rots your brain into, you know, a mushy mass. Like, so I don't, uh, I guess I understand why they weren't able to like foresee the consequences of their actions. Now, they're only getting hit like occasionally right now. I do think that once they start running low on missile interceptors, then we'll start seeing a little bit more panicking by Israel. I don't know exactly when that will be, but what I do know is that Iran, even under duress, even in times of war, will probably be able to build more missiles and drones per day or whatever than we in America are capable of building missile interceptors to, you know, give to the give tax free to the great state of Israel.
After the 12-day war, it was really the Israelis who were the ones who said, let's call this quits for now. You know, let's come to some sort of a ceasefire. Let's end these hostilities for now over precisely some of these same concerns. And I think, Sagar, they would probably be happy adopting effectively like a mow the lawn strategy, like what they've done in Gaza for years and years, where you go in, destabilize, blow a bunch of shit up, you know, make it impossible for the country of Iran to grow and thrive and succeed, you know, create a bunch of chaos. And then once the price gets too much to bear for you, or public sentiment starts to turn global sentiment, I should be clear, the Israeli public is very much on board with this war.
Yeah.
But once global sentiment starts to turn, okay, then we'll stop for now.
But we'll see. We'll see how much the Israeli public is on board once they actually start running out of missile interceptors. I do think there is a point that even the religious zealotry that feels like the zeitgeist in Israel will not be enough. Like, it's not going to be enough because at the end of the day, they are still like little Westerners like us, right? Like, where they don't have the ability to take like big hits and bounce back. They're not like the Palestinian people or the Lebanese people or the Yemeni people or these people who have had to deal with such strife throughout their like entire lives that they're able to just, you know, that they're able to bounce back from anything. Like, they're just not resilient at all. So I think that like eventually even their religious zealotry will start to turn into fear if they, you know, if Iran actually does keep up the missile barrages into like the midterms or whatever, like November.
And then we'll go back in at a future time. That seems to be what they're aiming for. But of course, you know, this is subject to the same problem that the Trumpian logic of, you know, if Trump wants to taco is subject to as well, which is that there was another party to this. And the Iranians seem to have learned a lesson from the 12-day war. They seem to regret having agreed to that ceasefire then, which just allowed the Israelis and the Americans to rebuild and re-equip so that they could come back in with an even more aggressive illegal war.
Yeah, and you know what I see in terms of the Israeli strategy is more of
an
acknowledgement of the widening of the conflict, where I really
For somebody who loves to wear suits all the time, I really think Sagar needs to like update his style. I'm sorry, that tie is not working. That, I don't know. I think he's got to fix. Maybe he did just have a baby, I think, so maybe he's not able to put as much time and effort into picking out a tie every morning. But
it does seem to me that the Israelis in the U.S. actually believed a lot of their own BS, that they wouldn't strike elements of the Gulf. They just thought that this is a nightmare scenario. Same with the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. It was one of those like tail end risks, but not something that was really from what they were thinking would happen. I mean, Ignatius even writes that the bombing campaign was nearing the point of achieving its military objectives. But what they find is that, of course, we wish to topple the regime, but that's not the only end game. This is the Israeli. Once the major military targets have been eliminated, Israel will have achieved its goals. Iran won't surrender, but it can send messages to accept a ceasefire within U.S. conditions. But what that ignores is how the Iranians are going to respond, number one, and they've already gone for the MAC strategy. But two, I think what they're also saying from the Israeli perspective.
Sorry, I have to double check this.
For the MAC.
I think he has 2 watches on, man.
Strategy. But two, I think
he's got to be on time.
From the Israeli perspective, is they're like, oh man, now we're tied at the hip here with the United States, with Trump. We're tied at the hip, obviously, with them. They want to declare this some sort of regime change, but they're also learning, as we continue to see, there's strikes all over Israel. I mean, look, The war has already widened. Israeli soldiers have even been killed. Now with Hezbollah, they're having to expand into Lebanon. And what they
Having to. Like, that's a choice that they are making, but okay.
like, as you said, is having the boogeyman exist. But if they actually go forward,
Also, by the way, Hezbollah I've been actually pretty impressed with what they've been able to do so far. They've taken out some of the radars, I think, and like they've been shooting missiles and then I think they've been kind of engaged in some skirmishes down as Israel tries to steal their land or whatever. I think that I may have fell into a little bit of the propaganda trap of thinking that Hezbollah was like completely decimated. Well, especially when I watched that video of that person from Lebanon talking about how much little political support like Hezbollah had at the time. But like it does seem like they're doing a decent amount so far. I'm viva the resistance, right?
then what are they going to do? They can't rile up their whole population every few years and say, oh, well, we have to go bomb them because of their nuclear threat. If they actually did replace the regime, then they would have to, first of all, we'd have to live with their consequences, and people could see how much of a nightmare that it's all become. But I think more than anything, this is probably more about munitions math, and it's about defense readiness and the reality of a long war and what it's all going to look like.
Yeah, well, and there were also some indications before Trump kicked off this war
I like
that it was the Israelis. Again, this was some reporting that came out. Netanyahu come to, visit Trump in December, and it looks like that's when they made the decision. Like, okay, we're gonna go to war, and in my opinion, all the negotiations were totally.
This always reminds me of that like Return of the King or whatever, where there's that like worm guy or whatever his name was, who's like whispering in the ear of like the king that is like mentally just like not there or whatever. I always feel like Netanyahu is going up to Trump being like, "We have the tapes. Do it, bomb Iran." I'm like, like I don't know. That's kind of what I figure is happening.
Fake is evidenced by
meetings.
the fact that they sent two guys who really didn't know what they were talking about in order to lead these alleged negotiations. And of course, while you're in the midst of these negotiations and the Iranians have just given up more concessions than they have ever have, that's the moment when you choose to actually start the war. But in any case, there was reporting that it was actually the Israelis that were like, wait, we're not ready to start yet. And the U.S. moved even more firepower into the region, moved another carrier strike group into the region. And so the alleged diplomacy was to kind of run out the clock so that the war could start at a time when we would be somewhat more prepared. Just imagine how disastrous this would have been if it started even earlier, when we were even less prepared, given what a disaster it already is. So yeah, I mean, the Israelis are the ones taking the direct hits in their country. And so they've now realized that, I don't know if they ever believed, they probably didn't, that if they decapitated the regime, that the whole thing would collapse. But once that has not come to fruition, there's no signs that you're going to have some sort of, regime change. The Kurds are like, we're not getting involved here. You're, not looking at civil war conditions at this point. Then the next best option for Israel is to say, okay, well, we blew up a bunch of shit. Iran has paid a price. We'll back off for now, and then we'll come back later. We'll do the same thing. We got Trump in office for a few more years. We can, later on, we'll talk him into this again. We'll once again threaten to strike Iran. If he doesn't, we'll once again, talk about how they're rebuilding their nuclear program. By the way,
even if that happened, though, even if they were able to, get out of this whenever they wanted, the fact of the matter is that, like, Iran can just outproduce us. Like, they can. They can produce more drones and they can produce more missiles per year than we can produce interceptors. So unless this magical, mystical laser interceptor thing that they've created is like the ready to go or whatever, like I'll believe it when I see it. War is always about production, and Iran just, even under sanctions, has more productive capabilities than our trillion-dollar military budget.
That might be true now, given the logic that we have created. It gives them every incentive to go in that direction. So I think that's some of the calculus there. At the same time, we wanted to take a look at our friend Lindsey Graham, who we covered yesterday. Reporting about, we already knew he was very influential in terms of pushing for this war. This is
he's one of the few that I think that Israel also has some sort of blackmail on as well, by how much of a freak he is for it. Like, I have my thoughts about what it might be. I think that, I think he might I think he might have a taste for for men instead of girls. Like I think it's sort of well, or like a lot of people assume that he's gay, and it probably is the case, but yeah, I wonder if that's it, or if he has some, Epstein shit like Trump on him,
Your
whatever.
lifelong dream at this point. There is no one happier, I think, on the planet right now than this bloodthirsty ghoul. And so he was, making the rounds over on Fox News yesterday, just talking about how much he is committed to Israel, how much he loves Israel, etc. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
All the anti-Seminites to all the isolationists. I don't
Anti-Seminites.
forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus, plus, plus. God bless Israel.
right.
We should move all our stuff to Israel.
God bless Israel. Good. He just wants America to become Israel. That's what I'm telling you, man. He's like a foreign actor. I feel like he just wants America to be completely controlled and owned by Israel.
Thank you.
God bless Israel, should move all our stuff to Israel. I'll be with Israel to my dying day. I mean, this is a United States senator. Him and Ted Cruz.
Iran, if you're listening out there, if you're listening to this humble this humble YouTuber, okay? If there's anyone that you're going to take out, I know you said Trump needs to watch out. If there's anybody else that you're looking for, maybe a slightly easier target. There's a little in the closet gay man in Congress that he's out there. I'm sure you can find him.
Both out there just openly admitting that this is their number one priority. Calling Trump Ronald Reagan plus is also really something. And it's important to play these comments and understand this man's mindset because he has been very influential. He had a plan to push Trump in this direction. Again, Trump's a big boy. This is his fault ultimately. And the reporting is that he ended up being pretty enthusiastic about going in this direction.
I never thought Lindsey Graham actually had that much influence, to be honest. The influence that he holds is only what he can get to Trump through the news, I think, through Fox News, getting his talking points on Fox News. But I don't think that Trump respects him at all, and I don't think he really takes his actual stuff into conversation, into consideration. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
But Lindsey Graham has been there making the case routinely, religiously for years now at this point. And so in a lot of ways, he is driving this train, or at least he is incredibly important in terms of why we ended up in this whole disaster.
It's funny.
One day I got to do a tier list, of our senators or our Congress people. I'd probably start with the senators because there's only 100 of them, right? I feel like I could do a decent tier list about that. Maybe that's what I'll do for a weekend stream or something.
And MAGA's like, President Trump, please keep Lindsey Graham off the air. He's hurting your case. I'm like, no. He's the only fucker who's telling us all the truth, okay? Mm-hmm. That he's in here with a blood relationship with, they've got some Angelina Jolie, Billy Bob Thornton wearing each other's blood around their necks. Some satanic ritual that's going on between the two of them. I don't, we'll only speculate, but that's what's really going on with old.
See, when Tucker's like this, I think he's kind of funny. Ooh, maybe, yeah. I think that's a good idea, Memstraw Hat. I feel like that'll play really good in the algorithm as well on YouTube.
And Israel, but that's the truth. Yesterday Laura Ingraham even had Ted Cruz on her show, and she's like, "You don't think it's a little weird that Lindsey Graham is going over to Israel and coordinating with their intelligence agencies on how to pressure the president?" Well, he loves America. That's what Ted Cruz goes. He loves America. No, he doesn't. He even said at one point in the interview, he's like,
"How are these people not charged with treason? I don't understand this. You cannot be openly doing the bidding of Mossad, a foreign agent's spy agency or whatever. It's so annoying. People should be way more pissed about this shit than they are."
I'm going back to South Carolina to convince them to send their sons and daughters to the Mideast.
Oh my God. Good luck.
Yeah, and look, people of South Carolina, at this point, you guys have had plenty of chances. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing down there. But, the real point that remains is that we
don't do
are
it.
in some...
Hey, I said yesterday, conscientious objection. Look it up. If you don't want to get drafted or anything, look it up. You just get to go around and do community service or whatever for the country. It's much better than dying for the like Nazi state of Israel.
Suicidal, blood pact with this country. A significant part of our electorate is either compromised or ideological. For him, I do think it's ideological, 100%, because he's been saying
a little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? But I mean, he's been saying it for 20, 30 years. Like, this is his entire worldview, but it does demonstrate what we're all into. And the Israelis may say to David Ignatius that they're a little worried, but their calculus is always escalate, 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 escalate. And you can also see how in the Gulf, we are dramatically losing a lot of our allies. Like, let's go and put to the next one, please, B3.
Oof, man. If there is one thing that could come out of this, it's just one. All I want is one of the Gulf monarchies to get toppled. That's all. Just one Gulf monarchy, like, getting toppled. That would be amazing.
Good example. So you have the UAE, which says that the Emirates reaffirms their commitment not to allow their airspace, territory, waters to be used for any military actions against Iran. Now, that's not even true, right? Because you can already see that there has obviously been, a lot of launchers and other things. Who knows, even with their own base. But what they're trying to do is signal to Iran that they have nothing to do with this. You've also had multiple instances now where the UAE is upset with Israel because they're saying, oh, hey, Israelis, stop trying to leak that we are responsible for some attack on a desalination plant. And even the Iranians are responding. Recently, the Pentagon posted a picture of some missile batteries that were in the desert. And the Iranian foreign minister was like, thank you for confirming that you have these weapons on their soil, which is the...
Iran has their own intel. Like, they don't need, they don't need any of this. They know if, like, they're hitting their targets pretty well. They know if you got American military assets on your soil. Like, you can try to trick your people or whatever, throw out your tweets on X, but like, they got their own intel. They they're big boys. They can figure it out themselves.
Exact reason that we are striking you. But the point of
Trump in his presser yesterday said that Gulf Arab states had launched attacks.
Right. So. I mean, who knows if that's true or not? Probably true, if you ask me. But let's go to the next part, because this is very interesting. This was passed around everywhere. I referenced it a little bit in our show. Is this UAE billionaire who has been accusing the U.S. of dragging the region into the war and rejecting calls from the Gulf states to join. He gave this long missive, I'm sure you saw it, criticized Trump. Who authorized you to drag our region into...
Hey, I got news for all of these UAE people. If you didn't allow all of our military bases to come onto your soil, then you would not be getting hit right now. Like, that is your choice that you made. Now, the reason that you have been, but the contrast to that, though, is if you did not allow all of those military bases to be put on your soil and to essentially, like, let your country be used as like a fleshlight for America, then you would not be allowed to prosper as much to create these types of societies that you have, where these billionaires, like these capitalist dystopias where these billionaires get to, like, have a bunch of slaves do all of their manual labor for them or whatever. So it's like, you took the benefits of allowing America to put all of their bases onto your soil. Like, so now, like, again, you just have to live with the consequences. Like, I hate these people who just complain about the obvious consequences of what would have happened, like, no matter what, if this ever escalated to this. It's like, just stop being a little bitch about it.
The war. And as I explained yesterday, there's no such thing as, like, an independent billionaire in these countries. Like, you only speak and you do it twice, especially if the government is like, yeah, man, go ahead. All of your, it's like China. Like, business is part of the state. That's literally how they wield all of their power. It's all it's intertwined for their own national interest. He is giving, these long, like, Bill Ackman style essays about how bad America's decision is, how dangerous it is,
America
how
bad.
they've weakened their country, how they have to question their alliances, how they're not going to join, the Gulf, the rest of the Gulf states in being dragged in. It's all they want is for this conflict to end. And you can see why. I mean, look at this map. Let's go to the next one, guys, just to show you all. I mean, to describe this as not a regional / global war at this point is preposterous. If you're watching our show, look at the arrows of all of the different countries that have either been attacked or been backed by, attacked by the United States, Israel, whether they've been bombed, whether Iran has bombed them, the type of rockets, the number of strikes. I mean, we're talking about thousands at this point.
That's a cool map.
That have all crossed all of these different borders.
I'll have to take a closer look at that.
Of what, like 10 days that we've gone now so far. I believe that the number is now 20 different countries that are now directly or indirectly involved in this conflict. It's completely, I mean, it's gone literally global. Cyprus, obviously, French.
When you let Israel do whatever the fuck it wants, this is what happens. So
the entire French Navy is on its way right now down to the Middle East. It's literally a catastrophe, and it's only been 10 days. It's crazy.
Well, and to go back to our friend Lindsey Graham, I don't know who this man thinks he is, but he's out there directly like threatening Saudi Arabia and offering them certain, defense agreements if they go along and fully participate in the bombing campaign. This is B2. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
Finally, to my friends in Saudi Arabia, I've been your biggest champion. I think the Crown Prince has taken Saudi Arabia in a completely different direction in a good way. But here's what I want to say to Saudi Arabia tonight. I'm willing to do.
Well, he's saying that because I'm sure that Saudi Arabia allows him to import whatever 12-year-old peasant boys that he wants to have sex with. But I don't know for sure. I don't know. They're all the Epstein class, I think, can we just kind of assume at this point that if you're one of these ghouls in the Trump administration that you're partaking in that?
A mutual defense agreement with your country to give you protection in perpetuity. Under the agreement I've been pushing, and I hope we can continue to talk about, if you're attacked by Iran, we would go to war for you.
Who are you?
Who said that?
You're not you're not the president. You're not in the cabinet. You're not the Secretary of War. You're not the Secretary of State. You're now freelancing, offering defense agreements to various countries.
Graham.
And I think the Saudi piece, though, is really important. I understand why he's so upset about it, because there was some reporting that Saudi was low-key or high-key interested in this war, supportive of this war. I don't know whether that's true or not. The Saudis denied it. It could have been, sort of a planted story. But in any case, they have a long-term rivalry with Iran. So they also stand to benefit if Iran and if the Iranian government is weakened. But at the same respect, they are feeling very exposed. They don't want their country to continue to be attacked. And so even Saudi Arabia, which of course has been a very...
Well, and also the political dynamics of Saudi Arabia is very much repressive, and the people don't have much of a say. And so that's where I'm I don't know. I don't know which one would be the most most likely for some sort of uprising or whatever, but I feel like Saudi Arabia is a potential.
A longtime ally of the U.S., probably one of our biggest allies in the region, our biggest outside of Israel. If they're even doing the calculus of I don't know if we really want to be involved with this, that shows you the thinking here. And for Iran, winning this war for Iran just means survival, right? That's the ultimate goal, is just surviving the onslaught and being able to continue with this particular governmental regime. That's what winning looks like. But the bigger aspirational goal would be to push the U.S. out of some of these countries in the region. And, it seems far-fetched at this point, but if you're Saudi, if you're UAE in particular, and you're looking at the fact that you thought you were getting protection from the U.S., and instead it's made you a target.
I'm sorry, but your name isn't Israel. We only protect Israel in this country. Israel is the only country that matters. It's the only country, period, okay? We are all Israel. Just you're not Israel, though. Gulf states, you're not Israel.
Well, that is going to change your calculus. That is going to change how you're thinking about your relationship with this country and what you're getting out of it. There was wasn't it a Saudi analyst that went on, Al Jazeera and was like, they're not protecting us, they're protecting the Israelis.
Yes.
That's their number one
what
priority.
Did you expect?
And again, that wouldn't have been said if it was not sort of permitted and greenlit by the government.
Ugh, I just can't, man. I just can't. I can't understand when people are dumber than me. When these people who like their job is to like protect the citizens of their country, and they are dumber than me, a little silly YouTuber who, you know, just watches videos and like could have told you 10 years ago, like, yeah, don't put those bases on your soil or else you're going to get your shit rocked someday. Like, I don't know.
So they're feeling very exposed. They're begging to be able to buy more interceptors. We're like we've like ghosted them, not answering their phone calls. Sorry, we don't have any available to sell you. And if we did, we would, prioritize Israel over you. And they are feeling like instead of getting protection from the U.S., we have been destroyed. And for UAE, Dubai, like these places are not going to recover. All these.
Also, this is something that like this is going to have reverberating effects across the entire world. We're showing right now that like the only country that we will even put a little bit of effort into defending is Israel. That's not going to be lost on like say people from the EU or I don't know, Taiwan. Like all of these countries are going to be like, oh, I don't know. Can America defend us? Like, it seems like they're incapable of defending their other allies. Like, can they defend us? I don't know. I don't know. Countries, you might want to start rethinking your military alliances. If every aspect of your security depends on just the United States coming in and protecting you indefinitely from any forms of aggression from any other actors. You might want to diversify a little bit, okay? Just letting you know.
Influencers who brought in.
I'm just trying to help, okay? I'm just trying to help.
All these wealthy expats, they are all fleeing, leaving their dogs behind, by the way, which is disgusting, to, tying them to just like dropping them off at shelters that are overfull and tying them to lampposts and whatever and just abandoning them there. But in any case, they're all fleeing. The brand damage that Dubai and these other locales are sustaining is going to be irreparable. I mean, you're talking about generations before that goes back to the image that it had previously. So yeah, I understand why he's upset, because this is not the reaction that he wanted from these Gulf states as they recalculate exactly what they're doing with their U.S.
Well, that's the cost, and that's what they're there for. And I could have told them if these people just came and watched my ding dang YouTube streams, then they would have known all this, I guess I wasn't streaming back when they were building the bases on their soil or whatever, but I assure you that if I was, that they could have came and watched me. I would have been saying the same shit back then. Okay, let's see here. I think I'm just gonna have a shorter stream today. I'm gonna do one more video. This is gonna be the fun one. I always like to end with a little bit of fun. This one is a recommendation by my wife, and I think that I think it's time that we figure it out. I feel like this is very, very important. This is the most important news that has potentially existed over the last like 2 weeks or so. More important than Iran. Well, I guess that's the main thing that's been going on. Like this is the most important. This story is about. Okay, guys, are you ready for this? This story is about Ben Shapiro's eyebrows. We need to know. We need to talk about it, okay? We need to talk about Ben Shapiro's new eyebrows. So I've seen the thumbnail of this video, and I have to say that I completely and totally agree that we need to watch this video because, guys, we need to talk about Ben Shapiro's new eyebrows. So let's see what's going on.
I coined the phrase, Ben Shapiro is the Pope of the Jews. And
oh, this is the Majority Report, by the way. Sam Cedar, Emma Bigland, they're great. Love them. Great show. Keep it up.
And here's the thing that I don't think I
Exactly. This cannot be ignored any longer. The world must know.
Understood when I said that. I said he's the Pope of the Jews because he proclaims who's a good Jew and who's a bad Jew. And he said that Bernie Sanders is a bad Jew because of whatever and this and that. And if you're Jewish, you know that there's no such thing as a pope. And then, in fact, there's not even like there's a head rabbi for different sects of Judaism. But to be a Jew is actually not to have a central authority that tells you what is a good or a bad Jew. different sects will sometimes rise up in narrow circumstances to be able to, in Israel, but they're doing that through a political process, not through a theological process to define who is a Jew. Well,
Israel has historically, at least in America, been able to define who is a good Jew and who is a bad Jew. And the definition that they, I think, tend to use is, are you against the state of Israel? If you're a Jew who is against the state of Israel, then you're a bad Jew. But otherwise, you're a good Jew. That's kind of the gist that I've gotten from, at least from like the ADL.
Matrilineal Judaism was something that changed it originally, of course, was patrilineal, because the first Jew was a guy named Abe, who decided that all the
Honest
idols
Abe?
were bad. So there is no
I think Judaism existed before Honest Abe, so it must be a different Abe.
like a person who is an edict. But what I did not realize when I coined the phrase Pope of the Jew, popes are considered almost like a quasi-deity. Mm-hmm. And I did not realize that's what I was conferring upon Ben Shapiro, because we're starting to see evidence of it. This guy has the capacity to transform. Here is Ben Shapiro, just like, when was this?
Okay. I'm gonna officially go ahead and declare myself the Pope of the seculars. Okay, anybody out there, if you're secular, if you're non-religious or whatever, I'm sorry, you now come under my rule. I am now your Pope. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's gonna be me. I'm gonna make fun of your appearance a lot, probably.
March 2024.
Okay, a year ago.
This is
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And look at him.
Wow. Now, 2 years ago, what a little spring chicken, this little baby boy. I have to say, just right off the bat, the eyebrows, they are looking fire. Like, this dude, he got the eyebrow genes. I never got it. And even if I did, I ruined it because I got like a scar on my eyebrow when I was a child. And so I could never look like this. But I think that also he has like the hair follicles of like a communist. I've said before, communists for some reason seem to have like the most hair follicles per square inch, but I think he can grow a pretty sick beard. So I guess it makes sense that his eyebrows and his beard hair are pretty impressive. So you know what? I agree. His eyebrows are pretty sick.
You can play a little.
This is who we recognize.
I don't even know what he's talking about in this video.
Yeah, we don't even know.
This is him coming to support Trump after having endorsed DeSantis.
As most of you know, I'm voting for Donald Trump in November. I've said so many times at this point. But I'm not just voting for Donald Trump.
Okay, pause it for a second. Right there. That's a good shot. Look at this man. He is in human form. Mm-hmm. But within 2 small years, he has been able to transform into something greater than human form. He has brow mac.
Me and Sam, we have similar glasses, I feel like. Maybe Sam is like my spiritual dad. I feel like he is. I'm gonna claim it.
Greater than human form. He has brow maxed into something even more amazing. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look at that. He has.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. I've heard the phrase of like caterpillars, like eyebrows or whatever. This is insane. This is insane. This has to be a transplant, right? Like he had to go to Turkey. And they were like, "Oh, you want hair on your head?" He's like, "No. I want all of the hair right down here. I want you to look a little lower. Like my eyes are down here, dude. I don't want any hair up here. I want it all down here." Oh my gosh, man. It's like as thick as his mustache. They're crazy fuzzy. Man, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a Ben Shapiro.
God.
He has doubled. No,
it's eyebrow raising.
No, he has quadrupled the size of his, not the length of his eyebrows, the width. Like I didn't know that eyebrows could actually grow that way. He is the Pope.
Has anyone ever done a hair transplant for their eyebrows?
Oh, that's what I said.
I think my guess is in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks there will be butterflies coming off the front. Of this
That's also what I said.
I mean, honestly, they look like they're like a
They're stealing my material. I'm not fond of that.
curtains in front of his eyes, and then at night they just scan down like and go and then he can go to sleep because it's an eye mask.
Is this a camera problem? Can we get like a shot on with him on the show, like a current one, to do apples to apples? Because this is not possible. It's not possible. I've seen people who like the amount of eyebrow. What is it called? Shaving? Like what? Like
right?
That
Threading?
he would have had to
threading.
What is it when you
plucking,
plucking or whatever,
plucking or threading or to
make it that thin back then? Because that's the only answer, right?
Right.
Is that he must have gone through a period of like.
Oh yeah, he must have been. But that doesn't even look humanly possible. I've never seen anyone with eyebrows like this in terms of just the look. The thickness.
Is this recent?
It's also the length of them.
Yeah.
Like you could braid his eyebrow hair in that more recent video.
That is not. Maybe,
See that doesn't look quite as bad in this frame. So maybe he just got back from his brow doctor or whatever. Like I don't know. It's yeah, me too. I love how it perplexes Sam. Like, Sam is such a. I love also when Sam uses like the Maxine terms, or he tries to be like hip with the youth. It's so funny to me.
Maybe it's almost like you can see. Like when was this?
Let's see. This was
fairly recently.
Cut off.
When?
Iran War 1 day ago.
Yeah, this is the Iran War.
Okay. Well,
he went to the spa then.
I mean, he definitely got some.
I'll go back a little bit further. Maybe there's something.
This is so strange.
He could donate those eyebrows to like a chemo charity.
Honestly,
that's true. Actually,
locks of love.
There's a lot of people out there who need eyebrows, and he could provide like at least like maybe a half a dozen people with a.
This is 11 days ago. I mean, I had been noticing they looked a bit bushy, but not in like. That's why I was taken aback earlier by the thing, because there's some big brows.
It's like, those are definitely bigger than they were before. He must have.
I think what happened is, guys, I think that Ben got a new brow guy or brow girl, and he's probably a little insecure. Like, have you ever gotten like this happened to me the other day when you go like to a new haircut place, right? And they don't really know what you want, and you try to tell them, you try to explain it, and they just don't quite get it. And I think that's what happened to Ben. I think that he went to a new brow person, and that brow person was like, I mean, I think I get what you're saying, and then just went like crazy with it, right? And so I bet he's feeling a little insecure about it. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to feel a little bad.
He must have been plucking them like religiously at that time.
But
ICE probably deported the landscaper that was taking care of him.
No, I want that. Can we put the other one back up?
I'm sorry, that was a good joke. ICE probably deported the landscaper that was taking care of him. Oh my gosh, Brandon is on it.
I just want to look at them again. Because it's not like he's still plucking them, Sam. They're just not. He's just plucking them in the middle.
I wonder if it's possible that he actually
like they're still groomed, but there's no arch to them. Oh wait, there's the arch. Oh, whoa.
They're prehensile.
He's got to be doing this on purpose. It's got to be some type of.
Maybe it's a filter. Has anyone confirmed if this is a filter or not?
Like thing that he's doing.
It honestly seems like it's a filter or something.
Oh my gosh.
Is that
okay. I gotta stop doing it. Like, I feel like I always end up saying exactly what they say. Just like I pause it just slightly too early. I need to let them finish.
Let me know. Is there like an Instagram filter that makes your brows like look bushier?
Why would he use it though?
I wonder
if it looks good. I mean, why does anybody use a filter?
I wonder if there's a certain amount of gender. There's some
hair?
type of. There's some
what
type
gender
of.
is that?
There could be some type of like something like.
Well, they all have that beard now.
Something to grow his beard.
Yes.
I mean, that beard has been suspiciously having a tough time to come in.
Well, that beard...
That would be amazing.
Yes.
If he took medication to get his beard to come in. Like gender. His eyebrows started going crazy. Oh my God.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
probably what it is. It's probably like
finasteride
or something.
Well, because the beard thing is a real trend. Remember, it was like, my whole... I'm not gonna. You're not.
I mean, you can't compete with that beard. I mean, that's. I remember, dude. I used to watch. I think before it went gray. I think back in the day, if I remember correctly, it wasn't gray when I first. He actually didn't have a beard for a while. And then I think when he grew it, maybe it was a little bit gray already. Maybe I'm lying.
Not going to be happy with what I'm saying. It's on the conservative side of things, but J.D. Vance growing that beard. He also got stubble. Matt Walsh. I know someone who is
Ted Cruz.
conservative and.
See, guys, this is why you come to me. Do you know how counterculture I am? When all of these right-wing freaks are growing out their beards, you know what I did? I bravely shaved off like 80% of my beard and left myself with this wonderful goatee that you can all see right now. You see that? That's how counterculture I am. I'm the most counterculture. Nobody can compete with me, okay? And don't even try. Don't even try Ben Shapiro.
Jason.
Although I can't grow the eyebrows that he can. So I guess that's pretty counterculture too. I've never seen a single other person with eyebrows like that.
Friend, we looks like almost like the beard from J.D. Vance. We mock him like, oh, now you're turning into J.D. Vance. I think it's a trend on the right. Is all I'm saying.
Well, none of those guys have chins either, which is part of it.
It's a manly.
Hey. Let's calm it down a little bit, okay? Some people are just born without a chin, and they can't control that. I'm not saying I'm one of them. Maybe you can infer by the fact that I did decide to leave a specific portion of my face covered with beard. But come on now. We don't have to go after these people like that. We don't have to be appearances. I know. I am catching strays. I deserve it though. I'm so appearances to all of the right-wing freaks, dude. Like they deserve to come after me a little bit too.
I think like there must be some manosphere thing about beards hiding your weak chin. Yes.
100%.
That's got it. But but it's a new thing. Because, I mean, when's the last time we had a president or vice president with a beard? I know you're pointing, you have a beard, yes. What?
No,
Sam's just like, give me attention. Please, somebody give me attention.
Highlighting my very strong chin.
I think he's mewing.
When's the last time we've had a president or vice president with a beard before J.D. Vance?
I would say probably the late 1800s.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's a manosphere trend. It's got to be.
I mean, we got to get that. We got to break that glass ceiling, boys. we got to break that glass ceiling. You know, woman president, nah. Gay president, nah. We need to focus on what really matters. Bearded president.
I think we had mustache in the 20s.
Benjamin Harrison was the last U.S. president to wear a full beard from 1889 to 1893.
There you go.
See?
There you go.
We got to make it happen. It's only like 120. If I can find a fun video, I'll watch it. If not, like a short fun video. If not, then I'm gonna call it. We're gonna do this together. So far nothing's looking too fun to me. Do. Okay. You know what? I think this is just a sign from secular God to your favorite secular pope, technically Clay. I'm here, and there's no videos that I think would be a fun way to finish off after that one. I think that was fun enough, right? So you know what? I'm probably just gonna call it. Like I said, I wanted to keep it a little shorter today. I gotta do some World of Warcraft stuff later. And yeah, I don't need to be constantly streaming all day, every day to you people. The secular pope's busy. I gotta go do, secular pope things. I gotta go do some secular exorcisms. I got shit to do. So thank you for watching. Anybody who's watching the VOD, thank you as well. I hope we had some fun today. I hope you had some fun today. Hope you have some fun tomorrow as well. Until we meet again, I am technically Clay. Adios.